There is strength in numbers. There is strength in numbers. And this data from ADDM is now that foundation that we need to say, hey, this represents a larger portion of our population than we think.
In Maryland, for decades now, we've been counting and tracking all the kids with autism. And this is really important because we can use that information to decide how many doctors, right, hospitals need to meet the needs of all those children. How many speech therapists do we need in schools? And then also for researchers and families, right? Families and feeling that they're not alone. There are lots of other families and children that also are affected. And then researchers to try and count the number and understand how much this is affecting our communities.
ADDM collects data from two sources, both from health sources, these are local hospitals, as well as the education system. So we work with county-based school systems. We're looking for what we call triggers, features of autism that could be in a child's record. What is really interesting to me and important with the ADDM network is the access of education data as a source and the important work that we should be doing to build relationships with those education systems and really think about how do we improve the processes within an education system.
As an organization that serves the entire state of Maryland, it's really important for us to know how many children in Maryland are diagnosed. We have families that are in crisis constantly, and there's nowhere to go for services. We really need to address the shortages, which are just they're devastating for the families and ultimately the community. The ADDM data gives us, the justification or the validation of the need in the state, a way to hopefully leverage more resources to serve families.
A key area of ADDM network is to identify the socio-demographic features of kids who have an autism spectrum disorder. So some of that is whether they are male versus female. We similarly look at things like race, ethnicity, socioeconomic status, and what we find is that there are some differences. This has varied over time and is something to continue to monitor and watch. But the interest for the ADDM network is whether we're seeing disparities, whether there are certain groups that are more at risk for not getting that access to a diagnosis, and that's important because those services can really impact how they do in the long term.
I think the ADDM data help very broadly in terms of us seeing trends. In some parts of, for example, Maryland, we have really rich resource jurisdictions where we have lots of services and supports. But then we also have gaps in more rural parts of the state. Sometimes families are traveling long distances to access services. The data could be really used to drive policymakers in making change in terms of what we need to do more in terms of increasing services and supports for them.
We're not an anomaly anymore. I am hoping it will bring more attention to making things more accessible. That's what we need. And when there's more of you, you have more support. These numbers matter. They genuinely matter.